Why would I want to go to Black Hat?
Black Hat is strategic. Corporations wanted to come because they saw the value in having their team members experience what hackers speak about. And somehow you had a great ecosystem where you could host Black Hat and then the very same week host DEF CON. So I think that's one of the best features of it is you can get two conferences for the price of one when it comes to travel.
Who says tech can't be human?
What's going on, Hacker Valley fam? Welcome back to the show. Guess where we're at? Black Hat 2024. And I'm with my new host of Hacker Valley Studio, Jennifer Langdon.
What's up, Ron?
Welcome to this show for the very first time in person. I know we've done it a lot.
Yes.
But yeah.
Well, it's so good to be in person, and it's so good to be in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Because I haven't been here before. And there's lots of fun stuff going down this week in Vegas, which is why we're here. So I'm really excited. Not only one, to be here with you, be here with the team, but I'm really excited for all the events happening this week. So we got to get into it. We're talking today mostly about Black Hat, maybe a little bit about DEF CON. But to start, there's some people that aren't here. You know, there's people at home, they can't make it to the conference. But there's also people, maybe they don't have commitments and they just don't want to come out because they're just nervous or they have anxiety about being out here, being in a big group and like trying to find their space with so many people around.
I've been there. I've been asked, about my experience at conferences, which ones are the best. And whenever I think about that, I always think about my first time at a conference, whether it be Black Hat or another conference. But for the case of Black Hat, the first time I went, I felt this feeling of being lonely because Vegas is a big city for one.
Yes.
It's a big city. The hotels are big and there's a lot of people. There's thousands of people here. So I remember coming and feeling lonely, even though it's a big city, lots of people. And I felt that way because I didn't know where to start.
It's overwhelming.
Feeling of overwhelm. And also when you're going to a conference for the first time, you don't know the lay of the land. So you might start at one place, like go to one event or even a talk. Maybe there's not a lot of people there. And that right there could make you second guess everything else about how the experience is going to go. So like my first time, I went with one of my friends. He was my mentor. And after we split apart, like he was introducing me, but after we split apart, I remember feeling lonely, like, I don't know where to start because I was leaning on this person so hard to kind of show me the ropes and chauffeur me around everywhere.
That's really funny. My first experience at a conference, I showed up and the way that I was able to network and not feel lonely is just immediately start talking to the person next to you. So I went to a session and he invited me, which was so nice because then I met all of these other people. I had a group to go out to dinner with. I wasn't so lonely anymore. And I've been able to keep in touch with those people for so long. Yeah. But speaking of a long time, this conference has been going on for a very long time. And when I was thinking of Black Hat, everybody talks about it. And DEF CON, everybody's like, oh my gosh, I want to go. Mecca. I had on another podcast, a guest that is a huge feature at DEF CON, and it just sounds like amazing, the environment. So to start, how did all of these conferences, these big events get started here to begin with?
I don't know the full origin, but there is someone that comes to mind, the creator of Black Hat and DEF CON, Jeff Moss. I think that he founded the conference in the 90s. You could fact check me. I think it's mid 90s. He started the conference. DEF CON was first. And from the stories that I've heard about Jeff Moss, I only met him once. The stories that I heard about why he started DEF CON, the motivation was to bring hackers together. Hackers in the 90s were not accepted like they are now. They were misfits and they didn't have cybersecurity jobs. They didn't have the cybersecurity pay as well. So it was having almost like a motorcycle, a biker club. And they happened to do it in Vegas because Vegas is a little lawless. You could still do a lot of things. You could go out on the strip and you could drink.
Matches the hacker vibe.
Exactly. Renegade.
Yes.
But years later, corporations wanted to come because they saw the value in having their team members experience what hackers speak about. And so Jeff Moss, he's a great business person because he's actually sold Black Hat to an organization. Great business person. He ended up creating Black Hat to fill a business need. And DEF CON was a fun project. So you put both those together and somehow you had a great ecosystem where you could host Black Hat and then the very same week host DEF CON. So I think that's one of the best features of it is you could get two conferences for the price of one when it comes to travel.
I mean, actually, I heard there's 3 conferences.
B-Sides
has a Vegas this week, which blew my mind. I was like, how are you going to attend either one or all 3 of these this week? Is that even possible?
It is, yeah. But you can't do the entire conference for each of them. But you should. I think everyone should have a year. You can't do it every year. It's not sustainable to try to go to all 3. But 1 year, I think it would be good for everyone that comes to Black Hat regularly or DEF CON regularly to try to hit all 3.
Which one would you want to hit first? So what conference is for who? Like what person? I mean, you mentioned DEF CON is for hackers. And I have heard a couple of the events they have there. They have that one, there's a social engineering event and they actually hack companies live, which is crazy. So can you kind of break apart who goes to what? Why would I want to go to Black Hat versus prioritizing a B-Sides or something like that?
Black Hat is strategic. If you are going to Black Hat to learn about anything, it's about how to position cybersecurity strategies, how to position cybersecurity programs, and also strategies on how to up-level your team as well. So it's very strategic. Some of the talks are technical, and Black Hat does have some really good training. They've been doubling down on AI as well. So there's an AI summit at Black Hat. So Black Hat is really for high level to, I would say, somewhat technical. And when you're looking at DEF CON is where you're going to learn more about the bleeding edge of cybersecurity. Highly technical, a little esoteric for some. If you're not already experienced with cybersecurity, you might go into a talk and be like, I don't know anything about that piece of technology, but it's exciting because there's some of these technologies have cult followings. So before AI was big, a lot of people were trying to hack AI systems, the systems of the past. And in 2016, I remember going to DEF CON and they were hacking Teslas. They brought a Tesla to DEF CON so you could hack it. And then B-Sides, I would say is for community. If you're trying to grow your network and have long, meaningful conversations, B-Sides is where I would spend most of my time. But if I'm looking for a job, 100% Black Hat.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit more, kind of break down further how you would move forward, I guess, in terms of networking and professionally at each of the conferences. So Black Hat, you mentioned different trainings.
Yeah.
What else would you add to that?
Black Hat is really nice because if you go to the Mandalay Bay where the conference is currently hosted, you could just stand anywhere in the Mandalay Bay where the registration's at, or you could stand by the bars. You could stand there and you're going to likely see someone that you've seen online in the cybersecurity space. So professionally, I would start by standing in the lobby for a little bit. That sounds crazy, but I would start by standing in the lobby and see who do I see. When I was standing in the lobby, and we were actually together, we were going through towards the lobby, we see Hip Dang. He works at Hidden Layer, legend in the game. He's been in the game for a long time. You'll see people like that. If I'm at the showroom floor, what I'm doing, if I have the budget, is I'm going to take some training, because people that are in that training, their companies have budget to spend. So that could lead to your next opportunity. It could lead to your next collaborator because they have the time and budget, or it could lead to, hey, I want a job where you're working because they're paying for the training. Yeah, so I would start there, and then
let's contrast with DEF CON.
DEF CON's a different beast. I think Black Hat, this might sound crazy, Black Hat to me feels the most friendly.
I was going to ask, DEF CON, I mean, even the connotation of it, and I have heard that some people have like tried to hack phones in the
Yeah.
past at the event. That doesn't sound as friendly.
Yeah. That's true. DEF CON, my strategy professionally would be to try to participate as much as possible. There's capture the flags. There's villages that I would recommend people to go to. And there's also the talks. The talks, you're going to get something out of it. So learning more about the bleeding edge, you might not be able to use that information today, but in like a year or two, it might be directly related to what you're doing at work.
And with DEF CON, don't they have like worldwide conferences now too? Like they've moved beyond the borders.
All of them.
Yeah.
Black Hat.
Oh, there's a Black Hat internationally too.
Black Hat EMEA. And I think there's 3 different Black Hats. But yeah, Black Hat is global. DEF CON, is it global? There's other DEF CONs.
Oh yeah. The girl I was interviewing, like apparently she had gone abroad and got rushed. Apparently she was like a major celebrity and they all recognized her. Like you were talking about, you just run into people and recognize them, and they weren't like ready for it because it was a whole other country.
Right.
So, wow, that's interesting. Like cybersecurity is
it's global. It's a lot of opportunity, and coming to Vegas is very important to my career. Like if you're not at Black Hat or you haven't ever been to Black Hat, I will recommend going. The tickets are expensive, don't get me wrong. So the alternative is to go to DEF CON, because you still have a lot of people that are at Black Hat, but they want to spend a little bit of time at DEF CON. So you still get the similar feel. Maybe it's not the exact same, but Black Hat will take your career to another level, 100%.
If you can only pick one to go to, let's say you maybe had 2 days to come out here, which one would you pick? When would you go?
I would pick DEF CON if I could only choose one. And I'm coming at it from a place of scarcity. So maybe it's time, maybe it's budget. I don't have the money to go to both because it is expensive. I would choose DEF CON, but I would go early. I would get there a day or two early so I could still have meetings, go to the Mandalay Bay or wherever Black Hat's hosted, and just hang out. Treat myself to a little vacation, go see a show. But yeah, if I could only choose one, I would choose DEF CON. But what I think is important is for you to figure out which one is more important to you. One thing that I'm really passionate about, especially for our team, is making sure that we all get our reps in across the board. Conferences, with the content. So what I would say is let's do a follow-up episode. I would love to interview you just like you interviewed me, and let's see what you think and share it with the audience.
Well, I'm excited to get down there. I did pick up my pass and everything, so I'm all ready to go. But like, I don't know where to go yet. So you're going to have to lead us down there, Ron.
Nothing to it. So let's do it. Let's go. We'll see everyone on the next episode. And we got some very special clips to share. Also, we host a monthly mastermind for creatives in cybersecurity. I would highly recommend everyone to check it out because it's just like a conference where you can speak to people that you normally wouldn't have access to. The best way to learn more and join the mastermind is by going to hackervalley.com/mastermind. We are excited to get into this next episode. But until then, we'll see you next time.